Oh, hey, it's Emily, and today I'm going to be starting a weekend reading vlog. So, there are a few reasons why I think this would be a good weekend to do a reading vlog. My boyfriend's actually out of town this weekend. The weather is going to be cold. It's supposed to snow tomorrow a bit here. And Omicron numbers are absolutely out of control where I am. So I don't really want to leave my apartment too much anyway. So there are just a lot of things that are going on that make it such that I feel like this would be a perfect weekend to do a reading vlog, so that's what we're gonna do. No better time, right? So, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my reading plans. It's Friday night right now. After work, I've just chilled with some dinner and some wine and some TV. So, I'm gonna get started reading soon, and I think I'm gonna start with finishing The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. I'm about 75 or so pages from the end, so I don't have too much more to go. So I feel like it would be really easy to just finish this out, start the readathon strong with finishing something. I also have a couple of short things that I feel like would be good to get through this weekend. One is the history of Cambodia from Captivating History. As I mentioned in my TBR video, I'll be sure to link that down below in case you're curious. I've read about half of this previously, or in the last stretch of time that I spent reading this, I read about half of it. It's been a while though, and I would love to finish this out. It's on my TBR for this month, and since it's already short anyway, and I'm halfway through, I feel like I could just knock the rest of this out. And then I also would love to go ahead and put Saga Volume 1 on the TBR for this weekend. This is another thing on my TBR for this month, and so, or my to be read list. And so I would love to go ahead and get at least one of those knocked out and see how I like it. And then from there, I'm not really sure. I could continue. I'm about 200 pages into Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. This is the third book in the Live Ship Traders series, which is the second series in her overall Realm of the Elderling world. So I might keep going with that and see how far I can get. Or since it's quite a bit shorter than Dune is, I might start working on Dune Messiah. We'll see. We'll see what this weekend brings and what reading mood I'm in. I do have some errands to run. My Cowboys are playing Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, so I'll be watching that game. Um, and I want to catch up on some filming. I'm way behind where I ideally wanted to be with filming videos and getting some of those edited. So I do have things to do this weekend other than reading, but I do want to spend a good chunk of time reading. So yeah, just wanted to give a quick open for the vlog, but I will check in probably tomorrow once hopefully some reading of The Keeper of Night happens. Good morning. It is Saturday morning, pretty late Saturday morning. I've had just a really lazy, lazy morning, had some breakfast, coffee, watched some YouTube videos, cleaned out my Nespresso machine, all that good stuff. And also did get a chance to finish The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. Overall, pretty positive thoughts on this one. I don't want to talk about this one too much in this vlog since it's kind of a random, I'm finishing the last little bit of it, but you do follow Ren, who's a half British Reaper, half Japanese Shinigami, and her Shinigami powers are kind of starting to come to fruition in England, and she's being targeted for it. So she escapes and takes her brother, or not takes her brother, but like her brother wants to go with her. So she makes sure that she gets him out too, and they go to Japan to try to find her mother, and she tries to become or kind of go through the process and go through what she needs to do in order to become a full Shinigami or recognized as a Shinigami in Japan. And, definitely heavy themes of her really trying to figure out where she belongs, being seen as a foreigner no matter where she is, and not really kind of fitting into either place or either part of her identity fully. and kind of struggling with that. And she meets someone along the way who kind of helps her through the journey of trying to become a Shinigami and doing the tasks that she needs to do. And she realizes what she's willing to do in order to accomplish that. And yeah, overall positive thoughts. As I said, I thought the world building was just super fun and interesting. I really like the mythology that's pulled into here and how it was woven into the story. I thought overall the characters were relatively interesting and fun to follow. Definitely some morally gray characters there, but definitely overall pretty interesting to follow. Uh, there were some parts of the romance that I wasn't feeling what I was supposed to be feeling. It generally is pretty hard for me to like really get on board with romance, especially if I mean, it's not a huge part of it. Um, in, in in certain aspects or in certain parts of the book, it's not really a huge part of it. And actually, the feelings and the emotions of the romance aren't really a huge part of the story. So I guess that kind of makes sense in some ways. I don't want to talk too much about that because I don't want to spoil anything. But I wasn't kind of on board when I should have been on board. But that's pretty typical for me. Also, one of the things that I wanted to be explored was kind of the history there and why Reapers didn't like Shinigamis, why Shinigamis didn't like, what's the history there? Like nothing of that was really explored. It just was, and she's trying to deal with the ramifications of that. But I think it could have been, and maybe there's going to be some more in the second book of that being explored, maybe. But I feel like it was could have been something pretty interesting or cool history and additional world building that could have happened that would have given a nice additional layer to that relationship and that tension in the book. But overall, super fun. I did really like how things ended up going. I liked the ending quite a bit. I thought it was just fun and definitely just an interesting turn of events. And you kind of follow her going through these tasks for a good chunk of it, but things kind of take a turn for reasons, and of course, I don't want to go into those too much, but things kind of take a turn, and I was intrigued to see where things were going and how things turned out and what the next book is going to entail. So, very interested to continue. Overall, as I said, positive thoughts. Um, and yeah, so today I'd love to be able to go for a walk. It's supposed to snow here tomorrow, and I really would love to be able to just get out, to go for a nice walk before that happens, and run some errands, get some groceries, all that good stuff. So I might go do that, and then later today we'll be working on editing my holiday vlog and finally finishing that up. I'm trying to get some clips downloaded to my computer, and it's just taking forever. And anyway, so I'm struggling to get that together, but hopefully I'll be able to finish editing that and maybe get that up tomorrow. And I also want to continue, of course, reading. I want to get a couple of the short things that I mentioned yesterday, maybe the history book in Saga Volume 1 read today, maybe. That would be awesome. And then, keep going with whatever I feel like continuing to read with. I probably am going to listen to the audiobook of Ship of Destiny while I'm walking, but we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, I will give an update later. So it is much later on Saturday. It is early evening, not too late on Saturday, but it is early evening. I went for a nice walk, and ran some errands, got a little bit stuck at one of my errands when my key fob battery died, and I had to figure out how to get into my car. Anyway, it was an adventure. Came back, cooked some food. I am working on getting the final clip for the holiday vlog actually um, to my computer, and then I need to get it downloaded. So it's been taking a bit. So I'm gonna have to wait a while for me to be able to edit the last part of my holiday vlog. But hopefully I was able to edit the first couple of clips, and then hopefully I'll be able to edit the final one later on tonight once it's actually in my computer and in my editing software, and then hopefully that can be uh, importing to YouTube overnight and go from there. So fingers crossed I'll be able to keep doing that. If you hear laundry in the background, I also have been doing some laundry. So productive afternoon, and I am now currently chilling on the couch with a glass of wine, and I'm going to get some more reading done. I was listening to a little bit more in um, Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb during my adventures today. I got a couple of chapters farther in, and if you know Robin Hobb's books, her chapters are super long, so that's actually quite a bit of reading. And so I'll talk more about that one later. But I do have these two. So I have History of Cambodia by Captivating History, and then a Saga Volume 1 right next to me. So I'm going to get to working on those, and hopefully I can finish them tonight. That would be absolutely fabulous considering I'm partway into that history book already, and the other's a graphic novel. So we'll we'll see. But I'm hoping to finish both of those tonight and see what I feel like doing next. Good morning. It is Sunday, and I think I forgot to mention that another one of the reasons I wanted to do a vlog this weekend was because it's a 3-day weekend. So I actually do have the day off of work tomorrow. It's a holiday on Monday here in the US. So that was one more reason I wanted to go ahead and get as much reading done this weekend as I could. I did last night finish or get caught up with a bunch of stuff that I wanted to. I actually finished this one a little bit earlier this morning, and I did also finish, here it is. I did also finish Saga Volume 1 last night. Absolutely loved it. The artwork is absolutely fantastic. The storyline is just super cool and interesting. So the story is told from the perspective of the baby that's on the cover there when she's older. So she's kind of telling her story of how she was born, about her parents. So it opens with her birth, and it's kind of interesting because you're seeing the story that she's telling, but she's also adding kind of her thoughts as she's older and kind of retelling this story to give a little bit more context. But her parents come from two places that are at war. It's a planet and a moon, and there are that have been kind of fighting for a long time, and there are a bunch of proxy wars that are taking place on other planets across the galaxy between these two, or between this planet and this moon. And so her parents are kind of on opposite sides or from opposite sides of this, but have fallen in love and had a baby. And so they need to escape because both sides are after them. It's a super interesting story. The art is so cool. I had a really fun time reading it, and I'm very excited to keep going with the rest of Saga. And again, did finish this earlier this morning. It's very short, so it's hard to capture, the history of a country in a bit over 100 pages. So there's definitely, of course, a lot that is, super briefly mentioned, and there are sentences and paragraphs that reference something that those events, and talking more about them could take up a whole book. And so it's hard to capture, but I did appreciate just kind of an overall kind of snapshot of some key events, places, people, groups in Cambodia's history. And it's a very casual, I think they're trying to achieve a casual style of writing to kind of tell the story of Cambodia's history, which sometimes worked and sometimes didn't, I think. But and of course, it's definitely hard when you're trying to cram that much information into a short piece, a piece of nonfiction that, it's hard to keep all of the people, the places, the groups in your head straight. Uh, but, or at least it was for me. But definitely very interesting. And definitely, I think will provide. I'm glad I started with this for my Cambodia reads because I think it'll provide a little bit more context for some of the other things that we'll be reading. So yeah, I finished that. I did get my holiday vlog edited, so I want to make sure I get that actually up today. Hopefully, the captions will be available to be edited and I can get that up today. There's also the football game today, later this afternoon, so that's another thing I'll be doing. It's late morning at this point. I think the only other update is that I did start, actually, I'll grab the dust jacket so you can see the dust jacket. I did start The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. This is the follow-up to The Prison Healer. And I really can't say much about this one. I can talk about the first book a little bit, and I have before, as I was reading the first one. So maybe you've heard a bit about this one. But I can't really talk about anything in this book because it definitely would say a lot of things about what happens in the first one. So I don't wanna say too much, but this one is the one where we follow a prison healer and her family's story. She's trying to There's an outbreak at this prison, and she's also undergoing, or she's taken on the sentence of someone else who's in her infirmary. That person in the infirmary has been sentenced to trial by ordeal, and she has taken on these ordeals on this person's behalf for reasons we find out later on in the book. And of course, things happen, and I can't say too much about the second one. I had a really fun time with the first one. I really was enjoying where the story was going, so I'm very excited to continue the story. And all I can say is that, yeah, there's a bunch that shifts later on in the story, and so it's kind of clear at the end of the story that the second one is going to have. I'll just say there's a lot of different stuff. It's a very different vibe than the first one because there's just a lot of other stuff that we know is going to be happening or that we're going to be following. That's all I'll say. I think the world is going to open up a bit in the second one, so I'm definitely very excited to continue. But I just barely started that, so no real thoughts. I think I think I'm gonna continue with that physically and have my audiobook be continuing the Ship of Destiny. I think I'm just in the mood to continue this. I was thinking about doing something shorter to see if I could finish one more short thing by the end of tomorrow, but I think I'm just in the mood to keep going with Ship of Destiny. So I might not finish, or definitely won't, if I focus on those two, I definitely won't finish those in the next couple of days, but I I think I'm just in the mood for some Robin Hobb. So I'll talk more about that later though, but now I'm going to work on getting the late holiday or belated holiday vlog up, and then I will watch the game and just have a bit of reading in the afternoon as well and go from there. And it's snowing. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it is snowing outside, and it's a little late in the afternoon. It is about 3:15-ish. I've got a bit over an hour before the Cowboys game, and I've had some lunch. I got to chat with my boyfriend a bit, and yeah, it's been a good afternoon. So I think I am going to just hang out, read some before the game, and have a book handy for commercial breaks as well. I think I'm just gonna have the Gilded Cage on deck to read a bit this afternoon. So yeah, I'm gonna get to reading. And here we go. And the game is over. Unfortunately, we lost. It's very very heartbreaking loss too. Anyway, I say we like I have anything to do with their wins or losses, but yeah, I definitely was stress eating some cookies during the last part of that game. And I did get some of the Gilded Cage read throughout the game and a little bit before. I'm tired. I'm probably gonna go to bed and I think read a little bit more before I do go to sleep. But yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed before too long and check in tomorrow. And good afternoon. It is Monday afternoon, early afternoon, like 1:15, 1:30. This morning was super chill. I was just relaxing, having some breakfast, drinking some coffee, watching some YouTube videos. I also need to run a couple of errands, do a little bit of adulting, but we are ready for some filming and editing, actually, before reading. So I really want to film my December wrap up and just go ahead and get that filmed. I also want to finally film my best books of 2021. We'll see if there's enough overlap between my favorite audiobooks. I normally love to do a separate audiobook video and just highlight some of my favorite audiobooks and narrators. I love listening to audiobooks, and I think it's just such a unique and magical way to read a book. So I normally love highlighting those specifically, but I'll look at my list of what I read last year as I'm planning these videos out and see how much overlap there is. I might just combine it into one video and just have a couple of mentions that maybe they're not my favorite books of the year, but I really valued the audiobook experience and just kind of have, if there are a few of those that I want to note, maybe I just note them in that video and then move on to my favorite books of the year and note which of those I listened to on audio or something. We'll see. Anyway, but I want to get some filming done, so first I need to plan which books I want to talk about for that video, film a December wrap up. I think that'll be good for the moment, and then get some more reading done, I think. So, yeah, let's do it. And it is later on in the evening. It's what, almost 6 right now. So I did get some filming done. I thought I might only film a couple of videos, but I ended up filming 3 different videos, and it ended up taking a bit of time, longer than I thought. But yeah, got 3 of them knocked out. I filmed my favorites of 2021 finally. There were a lot of audiobooks that weren't favorites of the year, but were standout audio experiences, I guess. And so I did film a separate video to talk about some of those because I love audiobooks. And I also just wanted to go ahead and get my December wrap up filmed before I got behind or too behind on wrap ups. So got all of those filmed and yeah, then had some dinner, chilled with a glass of wine and some YouTube videos. But I do finally want to get to a bit of reading. I thought I would get a little bit more reading in this afternoon, but it just was not meant to be. So I'm gonna get some reading done. Actually, oh, it's out here, not in there. That's why I was starting to go in here, was to grab this, but it was still on my desk. So I'm gonna be reading a bit more of The Gilded Cage by Lynette and Noni on that couch right over there, and just chill for a bit because it's been an afternoon. So yeah, I'm just gonna relax and read, and yeah, check in later. And it is a little bit later. It's a bit after 7:30, and I'm honestly probably gonna get ready for bed. That's what my grandma heart is calling for right now, is an early bedtime. So I'm probably just gonna take a shower, a nice bath or something, and get to bed a bit early and read a bit more before I actually fall asleep. But it has been a lovely weekend. It's been a productive weekend, but also got some reading done, which is what we love. Yeah, I finished the last, 75, 80 pages of The Keeper of Night, Saga Volume 1, the history book on Cambodia. Got about 100 pages into The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, and probably got somewhere in the ballpark of 50 to 100 pages further into Ship of Destiny, somewhere in that range, I think. So overall, you know, pretty good reading weekend. And as I said, still got a lot done that I needed to get done as well. So yeah, I'm gonna call it here, but thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I will leave those linked below. That's where I like to hang out. I will also leave more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.